All right, we have Tommy Points, episode 13. We got Riley in the building. Dante's not here. He's got some obligations, but you have the two better guys on the podcast, I guess, right?
Oh, man. Hopefully he's not going to listen to this, but...
No, you know he's not listening.
It's been a long day.
But episode number 13 of Tommy Points, and we are brought to you by Manscaped. This deal they have going over on Manscaped is incredible. Like 20% off, free shipping. What more did you ask for? Yeah. It's stealing.
No, yeah, that's all you could ask for.
Like you're not gonna go and find this deal anywhere else. This is the promo code Tommy Points. That Tommy Points is how you get 20% off free shipping over on Manscaped.com. I mean, it's a no-brainer. The stuff that we got, they sent us some stuff. It's fire.
Just do it.
Go do it. Support the show and support Manscaped, but mostly support the show. But all right, so we're talking a few different things today. I think we're gonna start talking. Why don't we jump into, I guess, Marcus Smart? We were talking a little bit about a pregame or pre-show, I should say. Yeah. Marcus Smart's now coming back tonight. They're playing the Nets in a couple hours here, and you can just start us off talking about what you were saying, because I think you had some interesting points.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know if it seems like it's early, like he's coming back, but I didn't expect him to come back the first game after the All-Star break. Hopefully he's not rushing it, just because they're playing Brooklyn. But if he is ready, then that's great for the Celtics. I think he's valuable. Obviously when he was out, we struggled, before the 4-game win streak. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Is he on restricted minutes? Do you know? Or is he just...
I would assume so. I don't know for sure, but I know he's not listed at all in the injury report. So I don't even know if, they're saying he's 100%, but
yeah, but
I would almost hope he's on minutes restrictions.
At that point, it's going to get kind of concerning right. But we'll see.
And I think it is a good point, because you mentioned, all of a sudden it's like it's almost like the perfect game to bring him back, it seems like. So they're just like slotting him into that. Now we don't know, maybe he is like ready to go, but it's almost like, first game after All-Star break, might as well bring back the guy that's been injured. It seems too like simple to me.
Kind of a coincidence, yeah.
Right. But and it comes at a time where the Celtics, yes, they've won 4 in a row, but it comes at a time where everyone's like, oh my God, we are needing the All-Star break. This team stinks. We need Marcus Smart back. That obviously, started to walk back a little bit when they started winning games. But I hope they're not rushing him. But assuming that he's not being rushed, assuming that he's 100%, 110%, whatever, what do you think is sort of, I think the answer is probably obvious in some regards, but how much of an impact do you think he's going to have coming back?
A huge impact. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting or coming off the bench, but he's just the leader of the team. You want to say it's Tatum or Brown, or some people say it's Kemba, but just for years it's been Smart, and I think it's still Smart. And especially when he comes off the bench, I think he really gives a spark off the bench, not only because, he's just a great player, but he like leads those role guys, like Pritchard and Williams and Ogilvy, like, I don't know, he can just fire them up somehow, it seems. He's
almost like the emotional, like, safety net, It's like this team when they don't have it that night, that it factor, it's like Marcus Smart by default will bring the it factor. So even regardless of like, him scoring 13 points a game or whatever and all these tangible things, to me, it's like when he gets there, the way that he can drive other players. And I know you mentioned like the bench players and whatnot, but also, right, the starters, regardless of who he's playing with. You don't think Tatum's like thinking, oh, geez, Marcus Smart's firing me up right now, or Brown, like, he is. It's a team getting their captain back. Marcus Smart's not the official captain, but he's the captain.
He's kind of doing the job of Brad Stevens, firing players up or cooling them off when they're heated, keeping the team emotionally stable.
And I don't know if this is worth mentioning either, but I don't know if this is too much of a coincidence or I'm pulling at straws here, but I'm pretty sure Smart came back to the bench just like a week or 2 weeks ago or something, which then they started winning some games.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm like, I don't know.
His presence is definitely a factor. Like, I feel like at this point we've all realized it.
Yeah. And it's like, obviously he's valuable now too, because you remember at the start of this, show was right around the start of the season, and when we read fan questions and whatnot, we got a bunch of questions of like Marcus Smart's tradable now. Pritchard's the guy that has the emotional or energy and whatnot. This team stunk when Marcus Smart got injured. I think he's shown how valuable he is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we had to see it by watching the Celtics, hit rock bottom, but. We should have known all along. Pritchard is still awesome. He's gonna be great for us, down the stretch and in the future. But yeah, like I said, Smart's the guy. He's the heart and soul.
There's no one like him. He literally is the heart and soul of the Celtics.
No one.
So, again, he comes back. Hopefully, he's 100%. Hopefully, we're just conspiracy theorists saying they're forcing him into or whatnot. But outside of him, any thoughts on what we have going on for the rest of the season in terms of what you're looking for? I guess we could start too with just our records. I know we had it in our Tommy Points chat today, so why don't we start there and then we could talk about specifics. But 36 games left. What do you think the record's going to be?
Okay, I think I sent in the chat 22-14.
Yep. So
not too bad. What is 19-17 right now?
Yep.
Okay, so 22-14. So we'd finished 10 games above 500. I think that's a pretty good record. Pretty reasonable.
I honestly did. I said 26-10, probably on the higher end. I did that without I don't know if you did, but I didn't look at the schedule.
Yeah, it's not super hard, but it's not easy.
Yeah, I just kind of went on how I hope this team will play, but I feel like that could put them, any of those, they could put them into that 3 seed, barring anything's happening. Even higher, possibly, if other teams. The East is kind of up for grabs right now.
Yeah. I'm hoping for the 3 seed or higher. I don't want to have to play, the 1 seed in the second round.
I know.
If we're the 4th seed or even lower.
Especially if the 1 seed's going to be what I think might be Brooklyn or even Philly. I think those are the 2 teams right now. And you called that on this show. You said, I think episode 1 or episode 2, that Philly was going to be the team to beat. And they probably have been the most complete team in the East this year. Obviously Brooklyn's gotten better with superstars and whatnot, but you were right about the Sixers.
It just goes, I know that, they got a few different players this year, but it just goes to show you how valuable and important coaching is, going from Brett Brown to Doc Rivers, change the whole team. They look really good.
All of a sudden, scared to play them. All of a sudden, you don't hear Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid hating each other because it took one coach to say, "Hey guys, you can play together." And they're like, "Oh, okay, let's do this." But I think both of those records we gave, 22-14 and 26-10, are sort of hopeful records, though. Based on what we've seen so far, they're just a couple games over 500, and we're hoping that they double their loss total with wins in the.
I think. I'm not sure to be exact, but looking at the second half of the season, I think the schedule is a bit harder. But hopefully, the teams we're actually going to have the team, because until with Marcus Smart out, I don't even know how many minutes Kemba, Smart, Tatum, and Brown have actually played together this season.
I think I saw on Twitter. I don't know the number, but it was super low. It was 28 minutes or something.
Yeah, so
I don't even know. Yeah.
If we actually, want to contend for a title this year or even make a playoff run, then if those guys are healthy, then they should put together a bunch of wins in the second half. If not, then they don't really deserve to make a run. And it's kind of.
Let's hope that's not the case, I guess.
Yeah, let's just hope we stay healthy, and if we stay healthy, then I'm confident we can beat anyone.
Anybody. I'm hoping. Obviously playing Brooklyn tonight, they're as healthy as the Celtics are, seemingly as healthy as they've ever been. Brooklyn doesn't have Blake Griffin. They're not going to have Durant. They have, not their. Go ahead.
And to go on the second half of the season, I'm definitely looking for Tatum and Brown to improve. I know they've improved this season greatly, but they started out the season crazy. Yeah. And kind of the last 10-15 games
there was a lull. They looked either
their shooting percentages have dropped, but I know Tatum might be from COVID, because who knows how long the effects wear on you afterwards, but hopefully they can just bounce back and be a little bit more clutch.
I feel like that they speaking of the clutch too, it's when these guys are playing in the clutch time, it was they're already at their 40th, 41st, 42nd minute in some games. And it's holy crap, we're asking guys to make must-make shots in close games when they've already played, double the amount of minutes of some of the other guys on the team tonight. So I guess that All-Star break was just much needed.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of more hopeful now that the team's healthy, that these guys won't be drained. Come fourth quarter, we can actually see some good games.
Because those fourth quarter, like you forget the depth, you forget the bench. Assume the game's close by then. That starting five of the Celtics, or that we'll call it 1 through 6 maybe. Can compete with anyone in the league.
No, I agree.
So it's a matter of getting there, which is hopefully with Marcus Smart coming back, we don't have any of those absolutely just like let's piss away the game right now in the third quarter, and then that fourth quarter doesn't even matter.
Yeah, there's already been too many of those games this season.
Hey, we're on the up right now. I'm pretty sure we did hit rock bottom. I know we were searching for a little bit.
Yeah,
but I'm pretty sure we found it, and nothing's gonna get worse than that stretch of basketball.
Let's knock on wood real quick. You just said nothing's gonna get worse.
Because we've said that before too, which is
I'm gonna come back to this clip in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Oh man. But so Smart's coming back, full health. Robert Williams on the rise. Other guys starting to step up. What's probably, if we had to list 3 things each that we're almost looking forward to, or at least I guess it doesn't have to be totally positive, but has your eye on if you kind of had to pick a big 3 of what you're looking for in the second half.
All right, big 3. Time Lord, Robert Williams.
That's probably my first one too.
I know he's going to continue to improve. I know he's going to play well. My thing is I want him to get more minutes and, consistently get more minutes. I think that'll be big for him and his progression, and hopefully he can maybe play even big minutes in the playoffs. And then number 2 would be probably the same. Not the same, but number 2 for Peyton Pritchard to be a bit more consistent and, get a little bit better. He's not inconsistent, but, there's some nights where he comes off the bench.
He is. I think, he is. I feel like he is. I think you're fair to say that. Like, he's like the golden child in all of our eyes, so we don't want to say, he's in... But he is non-existent in some games. You know what I mean? Which stinks. He's only a rookie. Yeah.
I was just going to say, he's only a rookie, But I want to see him, be more consistent. And then number 3, probably Neesmith continue to get minutes. And he was improving. I think the last few games... He wasn't playing that much.
No, if any. I don't think he played at all the last couple of games after playing well. It didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, so hopefully he gets some more minutes. If it's not the worst thing if he doesn't, if we're playing well and other guys are playing well and he doesn't get minutes, then so be it. But, if he does get opportunities, then I hope, he gets consistent minutes.
Yeah, I think my big 3, I'm pretty much in alignment with Robert Williams and Pritchard, because one thing that everyone harps on is the Celtics' depth and their bench. Those are 2 guys, regardless of, say Robert Williams gets the starting role, hopefully at one point. That means that you have either Tice or Thompson or both now on the bench, which is good. So Robert Williams continuing to grow and hopefully being consistent. Same thing with Pritchard. That all of a sudden allows the Celtics to go 8 or 9 deep with guys that they can actually trust, which is completely, ridiculous to even say out loud, because I feel like right now we're going 4 deep of guys we can trust. But if they can all of a sudden start relying on Robert Williams, Pritchard, this team, I mean, I still want a trade or want some pieces added, but if they can start relying on those guys, this team's good enough. They don't need outside help.
Yeah, I still think we need outside help. I'm kind of sticking to, if we wait till the offseason to use the trade exception, I'd rather wait to get better than do something right now to just push us over the edge, hopefully.
Yeah, I feel like, and that's the key word, right? It's you do something and say it's a drastic trade. Honestly, you are, Dante, as I am, as big as Celtics fans they come, I don't envision the Celtics winning a championship this year. And that's not bad. I just don't see it.
For some, obviously because we had Hayward last year and then, Kemba before he got hurt. But yeah, last year I was definitely more thinking we could win it. But this year, it's, I don't know, not even because of Philly or Brooklyn, but just our own internal issues.
Yeah, it's to me, it's and then even if you add a Vucevic or a Harris, any of these bigger names, it's well, then now you only have half a year with this guy. Do you think he's really going to gel and completely morph into helping this team win a ship this year? So,
I really think we need another wing.
Yeah,
people aren't high on Tyson Thompson, but having both of them and Robert Williams, I think we're good with bigs. If Kemba and Marcus Smart, stay healthy, we're good with guards. But we need wings out there who can score. Grant Williams and Ojale go out there and they help space the floor for Tatum and Brown, but they don't score. So it's kind of like they open the floor for Tatum and Brown, but then Tatum and Brown, kind of get exhausted because they're the only ones who can score on the floor at that point.
And if you look around the league too, it's like you'll have teams like, I think Terrence Ross is a really good name that Dante brought up last episode, right? That's the type of guy that anyone on your team could be having an off night. All of them, all of your go-to guys could be having an off night. You at least have someone on the bench that could possibly go off. You know what I mean? Look at this bench. There's zero, because even Peyton Pritchard, I wouldn't consider it. I know he's gone off a couple times, but there's zero go-off potential on this bench.
No.
Jeff Teague's not going off. Semi Ojale's not going off. Grant Williams, Javonte Green. No one has.
They're going to have games, like going off with being like 23, 24,
Grant Williams,
points.
17 points, right? Last game, Grant Williams, 17 points. And everyone
went
was
off.
Ready, everyone was ready to put him in the middle of a parade.
And then what happened? We played the Pistons, and that one rookie scored like 38 points against us or something.
Sadiq Bey. I forget what he had, but it was like, yeah, exactly. That's
it. And we don't have that.
Semi Ojale's not doing that. As much as we want Neesmith to, he's not doing it right now. So it's a tough, I don't know, it's a tough situation because you'd like to say, like, oh, these bench guys, they're young. They have this ability to grow into it. But it's like, the Celtics have time. I get that. But at the same time, does it hurt to add someone who can just do it right now?
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard because I honestly don't think Brown and Tatum are in their prime yet.
No, that's the tricky thing, right?
Like, obviously, they come out the first couple months of the season. They're both averaging almost 27 points a game. It's hard to argue that, they're not starting their prime yet. But, I just think, Brown's 24, Tatum just turned 23. We just got to be patient.
Yep.
We have them locked down for a few more years. I don't think they plan on leaving afterwards. Hopefully that, Celtics their whole career, but
so I completely agree that, like, I think it's crazy that they're that far away from their prime. Technically, the Celtics don't. Even Danny Ainge could be like, technically, we don't have to do anything right now. To play devil's advocate, do you think by, say, Danny Ainge does nothing this year or anything like that, do you think all of a sudden Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum are like, dude, I can win now? Like, you're not. I get that I'm 3 years away from my prime, but you're not going to even try and do anything? Because if Danny Ainge does nothing this year, he's technically saying, like, chalk the season. This is a null and void season,
I don't think they would say that just because, Tatum's made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 of his first 3 years. Brown's made it 3 of his first 4 years. I think they would say that probably if Ainge didn't do anything in the offseason.
That's fair. Or for years to come, or it's a recurring thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now, with Tatum just signing in the offseason, everyone just needs to relax.
Yeah. I wouldn't even be surprised if, this is going to sound weird, but if Tatum and Brown may be, like, content with just having, not worrying about winning and putting up personal stats. It's like living in your early 20s to them type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they're just going off, and it's like, they're in a good situation because realistically, no one actually has, like, this, live or die expectation of you need a championship. Everyone in Boston wants a championship, but no one's going to, like, crucify Tatum for not winning a championship this year or the next year or maybe even the next year after. It's like when he gets into that prime year, all of a sudden you're saying, like, is he not winning and that type of thing? But no one cares about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think in a couple of years, if, we think Brown and Tatum are as good as they are, then they're just going to need, a third option like Kemba and then some role players like we have, and they'll be able to take the Celtics to the finals.
Yeah.
I think they'll be that good.
Yeah, at least they're on the track right now. But
yeah,
this year in particular, I think they do need, if they want to make anything of this year, I would say, whether it's, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals or anything, I think they do need to make moves. There are some floated around, so I figure maybe we talk about a couple of those. One of them was Harrison Barnes, and I think the question posed is Harrison Barnes, they're saying, like, a young player and a first-round pick for Harrison Barnes. Would you do a Neesmith and a first-round pick for Harrison Barnes?
That's tricky because
I think I would, and I hate to do it because
because honestly, it would be dumb to not do it.
that's the thing. You have no clue what you have in
But
Smith right now.
It just feels shitty just drafting this guy, not really giving him a chance, and then trading him. But I wouldn't want to trade like Langford or obviously Pritchard or so who else is there to?
Would you do Langford in a first? You think he's more valuable than
No, I would.
Nesmith?
No, I said I wouldn't.
Yeah, so you think he's more valuable than Nesmith in
Yeah.
terms of trade? Yeah.
But that's probably just the homer in me. But
I feel like it just both, like, I think I would do it. Other than Pritchard, I think I would do Langford, I'd do Nesmith. I wouldn't love to do it because, again, I think you're overpaying. Harrison Barnes is great. He comes to this team, I think he'd be really, really good.
Yeah.
But I don't think you add Harrison Barnes to this current team, add Harrison Barnes alone. I don't think it's not like the championship's back on.
No.
And if we just got finished talking, you and I, about, like we're a couple of years away from anything, if we want to make a strong push when Tatum and Brown are in their prime, then it's like, what if 3 years from now Nesmith or Langford are just as good as Harrison Barnes?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but again, I wouldn't even say, we're a few years away. Like, one piece this offseason, we could be, there next year. But I don't know. Just
it's tough because
I
it's
would.
not like
I would make the trade.
I think you put it perfectly. Your gut reaction was like, I would, because it'd be stupid not to. But you don't mean like it'd be stupid not to. It's a no-brainer. It's almost like you have no true evidence in front of you to tell you why you wouldn't make this trade right now. That's the thing. It's like Nesmith is unproven, and if anything you've seen out of Nesmith so far, it's not screaming, I'm going to be a superstar someday.
No.
As much as we love him.
But to be honest, I feel like if we trade him, knowing the Celtics, he's going to go to another team and start averaging, 20 points a game.
He'll be a Celtics killer for the rest of his career. You know that's true. But what about another name that was floated around in this? I don't know what the price would be, but Lamarcus Aldridge, who's 36 or 35. Apparently, some betting website, a big betting website, just increased Lamarcus Aldridge's odds for who he's going to get traded to, because the Spurs already said they're trading him. Like, they're on two different they're in two different pages. They're not going to continue together.
Yeah.
Lamarcus Aldridge, all of a sudden, his odds are now Celtics are the favorites to get Lamarcus Aldridge over even staying with the Spurs. What do you think, Lamarcus Aldridge? Your face isn't saying you love it now.
I love Lamarcus Aldridge.
Okay.
But not for the Celtics.
Yeah.
I don't like. Obviously, I wouldn't turn down Vooch, but I've never been high on a big man for the Celtics since probably the beginning of last year. Time Lord Robert Williams is my guy. I don't think wasting any money on any players, doesn't matter if it's a 1-year contract or 3-year contract, is worth it. Tice and Thompson aren't great, but they'll get the job done while Williams is setting up to be our guy.
And honestly, I think I'm higher on. I've said it before, so I don't mean to keep saying it on the show, but like Tristan Thompson, I think does a lot of stuff that you need in a team, and he's been fine doing it to me. Tice, obviously, we know what he is, but the addition of Thompson has made that sort of big man rotation, we'll call it, I think, completely viable. Like he adds that. Even if he's not playing defense, he adds the physical presence down low, which is huge. You know what I mean? Like he
can actually grab boards, which over the past probably decade, and that's been one of the biggest struggles for the Celtics is not having a big man to grab boards. So that's been nice, but obviously a guy like Aldridge would do it better, but I don't know.
I agree. I think I love Lamarcus Aldridge. I wish they would have gotten him like 3 years ago if this is the case too.
Yeah.
I mean, even last year he averaged, I think, like 18 points a game. So this year he's averaging like 13, but that could just be because he hasn't been happy. He also has been, I think, injured a couple times. But regardless, I think...
I mean, he would definitely be better than Thompson or Tice. I'm not trying to say that.
I think if he comes here for a ridiculously cheap price, you say, okay, fine. Like, I'm not going to be mad about it. But is that the trade that they needed to go out and make? Probably not.
No.
But I guess I would take him again. But those are just, as of today, more like concrete names. So officially Harrison Barnes has been like, hey, this is the price I'm not saying Langford or Romeo. They just pretty much said young player in a first, which I can only think those are probably the two names that are.
I heard Jeremy Grant floating around. I don't know how accurate.
Yeah, so I heard that too. And I've seen a lot of people dispute it too, in the fact that the prices that they'd want. Like, I think the Pistons would be dumb to trade Jeremy Grant away.
Oh,
like, I know they're not winning or anything like that, but I don't know what they would. They're a team that, if you trade Jeremy Grant away, it's what do you expect they get for Jeremy Grant type of thing? Like, would they trade him for a Nesmith and a first round pick? That seems kind of.
If I was them, I would trade for a rookie and a pick or two. Just if I was them in general, I would just be playing all their young guys. They're not going to win anything. There's no point in playing veterans, or I don't know how old Grant is, but I know they have a few rookies. I think they should be playing all the time because that's going to help them in the future.
And like you said, they have no chance of doing anything right now. But I do think the price tag would be high for Grant. Like, I think they would still expect a lot for him. So
yeah, that's what I was saying. It might be too high. But just thinking of Grant, this team, he's that one guy who could just randomly go off every night.
Yep.
But still be a consistent scorer for us. And yeah.
He'd be great. He's not old either. I don't know how old he is. I want to say, let me look it up. I think he's like probably
25, 26.
Yeah, I was thinking probably 26 to 27.
27, 28, 29.
Just say every number you got. So he's 26, and he just turned 26.
Okay, see, I was right.
Wait, no, he turns 27 tomorrow. Hold on. 26 tomorrow, I think.
Oh, okay, so he's young.
Yeah, he's there. He's I think you'd be a great addition to his team. Again, it's similar with Harrison Barnes too. I don't want them to have to overpay for someone that I don't think they need to overpay for. Like, both of those guys, I think you're paying for, as good of players as they are, I think you are paying almost close to like a superstar price for a guy that's not a superstar.
Yeah. And I think the fact that like Danny kind of put out that he's looking for a trade, and that every team knows that we're looking for a trade. Obviously the trade exception that some teams are going to try to fleece us.
Yeah.
And so I think even teams that aren't, I think are just going to try to get a little bit more because they know, they really think we're desperate.
And think about the Pistons. They're like, we have nothing to lose. We already stink. Like,
exactly.
You're either getting this good player for a high price or walk, because we're in the same boat no matter what.
Yeah,
you're the one with the expectations.
They don't care.
Exactly. That's true. I think that the smart Celtics fan in me wants to just wait, and we can make cooler heads prevail in the off season, but I'm watching tonight's game type of Celtics fan of me is like, okay, you know what? I get that Tatum and Brown are far away from, not far, but not at their primes yet, but let's win every basketball game we play, because I think that this team, even with those two guys being young, I think they could be literally, with a correct team around them, could be winning championships now as the number 1 and 2 on a team.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Heat go off in the playoffs last year. It was a 5 seed, Tyler Hero, obviously Jimmy Butler, Bam. Those guys are younger, not Butler, but Bam and Hero are younger than Brown and Tatum, Obviously,
that's like the Kemba with Brown and Tatum. It's like similar age sort of buckets.
Exactly.
Mind, yeah.
Like me and you saying this year that we don't expect the Celtics to win a championship doesn't mean we don't think they can, or at least I don't. I think they can.
Totally.
Do I think they will? Probably not, but they could easily just go off in the playoffs and just tear teams up. Yeah. We've seen them do it before. It just depends on when it's going to happen.
Exactly. I'm in the same boat as you. Gun to head, I'm saying no, they're not going to win a championship. If do I think they can? I'm going to believe in this team. If no matter who they have, like they could have 11 me's on the floor, and I'd be like, that team's going to win. I just think that they have some sort of factor that they could do it.
No, people could just look at the record and say, oh, they're average. But if you actually watch the games, you'll see whether our opponent's good or bad. We just play to their level.
Yeah,
so we can compete with anyone. Whether it's the Pistons or the Lakers,
If there's one thing the Celtics team is good at, it's competing
at their level.
Yeah. All right, before we get out of here, I did want to just bring up the Celtics jerseys, these earned edition jerseys that we talked about a few months back when we first started the podcast. So I think we looked at the one on the right originally. Those were like the leaked jerseys. They officially got released, I think yesterday or the day before, I don't know. But the ones on the left, you see Jalen, if you are watching on YouTube, you see Jalen rocking them. Riley, what are your thoughts overall on these? Thoughts versus, the seeing it in person versus the leak? Like, what do you think?
Okay, well, the leak was terrible, and this looks much better on Jalen.
Yep.
In general, I like them. They're a little boring to me. I don't know. The green on green still doesn't look great, but again, it's not as horrible as it leaked. But I was expecting. Wasn't expecting something cooler because the jerseys are always lame.
Yeah.
But I was hoping for something cooler.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like, these aren't bad, and I do think the actual picture of it looks better than the leak. But at the same time, this Celtics team, I feel like, is never going to come out with anything close to like when Miami did the Vice jerseys, or they're never going to have anything that's just like, oh shit, like that's a cool jersey,
Or just like changing it up. Like even the 76ers earned jerseys were kind of boring, but like they just had the giant
the
bell in the front.
Yeah, exactly.
Like why not just put like a giant shamrock on the front, or like just be creative, try cool different things. Like they may suck or not look great, but
it's not just the word Celtics in a different. It's not even a different shade. It's just a slightly different green. You know what I mean? It's not even. It's not even like they did oh yeah, we kept the same font and number, but we did a wild color. It's like it's just this, like maybe 2 shades lighter and neon of a green. It's
we made it a bit darker and we changed the white to green. That's it.
Maybe they just gotta like fire their Photoshop person or something because they're just like from the 80s and not creative. I don't know, but. Yeah, I feel like anything else you wanted to talk about on the episode?
I predict that the Celtics will win tonight and beat the Nets. I don't know.
Lock that in.
Wait, do the Nets have KD?
No KD,
Okay.
no Durant, no KD or Blake.
Blake. I don't care. Okay.
Yeah.
No, okay, then I'm sticking with that. The Celtics are going to win tonight.
All right, let's see if you're right. Well, you've been pretty spot on in your predictions, and if not hitting them, they're like pretty damn close. So
I try.
It's a good bow to the Celtics if Riley's predicting win. But all right, you guys can follow the podcast on Twitter at TommyPointsPod. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, like the video. We love seeing the subscriber count grow and everything like that. You can follow Riley on Twitter at Color Sports. You can follow me on Twitter at EvGuyBoss. Let's see if I got this. Boom. We're getting better at that.
There you go.
And be sure to head over to Manscaped. One last thank you to them for sponsoring today's episode. Manscaped.com. Use promo code TommyPoints. It's going to take 20% off your order and free shipping. It's like we're just handing out products with this Tommy Points promo code.
Just amazing products for basically nothing.
Literally nothing. Like 20% off pretty much nothing. So head over to Manscaped.com. Use promo code TommyPoints and pick up your grooming needs. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Celtics going to win tonight because Riley predicted it. No brainer. So we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Peace.